let's move on to our next story. Last month, during a parliamentary hearing in Ottawa, an MP asked a question, and an RCMP representative, almost by accident, admitted that the RCMP uses spyware on us, on Canadian citizens. Yet, after repeated attempts to have more information, the RCMP still refuses to name the spyware that is used to monitor Canadians. And this has been going on for years. So to make sense of all this, I'm happy to be joined by Jacques Sauvé. He's a cybersecurity expert at Trilogiam, a consulting firm. So first of all, tell me about spyware. What are we talking about when we talk about this RCMP using spyware? What does that mean?
Well, it's essentially using, malware, if you will. We've all heard about cyber incidents, cyber attacks, where bad guys will install malware on somebody's PC and exfiltrate data and then encrypt it, right? So it's something that's, shouldn't be there, right? Of course, when bad guys use it, it's one thing. Now, when authorities use it,
the good guys,
and since your researcher called me yesterday, I kind of dug a little more into the topic, and the RCMP uses spyware or software to spy on bad guys, and I'm like, okay, here's my 4 cents, which used to be 2 cents, but with inflation now it's 4 cents.
But wow, Jacques, you have writers, you're doing comedy. You should go to Just for Laughs, man.
There you go. But I'm like, so. Right, so everybody's got mobile phones today, and maybe authorities are using spyware or software on those phones to listen to bad guys. Yeah. But hey, phones have been around for quite a few decades now. Yes. Wiretaps. I was just reading a story from 2007 when they found guilty a bunch of Haitian street gang drug lords. And how did they catch them? Well, they tapped their phones and listened to their conversations. They followed them. They infiltrated them, right? So undercover agents. It's a lot more dangerous for these guys. Today, because of the pervasiveness of these mobile devices, all you got to do is install a piece of software on it, and hey, you can track them, listen to them, and all that. Now, there's all this concern about, security and privacy and right to privacy and all that.
There are legal considerations, is there a warrant? Did a judge approve this, et cetera, et cetera?
Of course, and I want to believe, maybe I'm just naive, but I want to believe that the RCMP can't just decide that, oh, hey, I'm going to install this on Jacques' phone and listen to what he does and look at his pictures and blah, blah, blah. They have to get a judicial warrant, and they have to have probable cause. It's how we catch bad guys, right? So, they don't want to tell us which one they're using. Fine. They don't have to. I don't think the authorities or the law enforcement agencies have to tell the public all the tools and methods they're using, because we don't want to tell the bad guys how we're doing it. And so...
I think you're touching on a very interesting point. I think there's a difference between law enforcement and the techniques, and I agree with you. I'm on the side. I don't need particularly to know to the finest detail what technology is being used to catch bad guys. But I think what this shows is there might be, with technology and everything we're hearing and seeing, conspiracy theories, et cetera, there's a fundamental mistrust of government.
Well, of course.
And I think that's maybe what's more at play here. And, we hear stories about what the U.S. can do. I remember seeing on 60 Minutes once, this report of this Israeli technology that is so advanced that you can even get into the phone. And anyways, it's just crazy. So what do you think we're really afraid of here?
Big brother government, and I think what citizens need to hear, want to hear, is some kind of assurance from our law enforcement agencies and governments and the courts. Well, governments, nobody trusts government anymore, but some kind of assurance that our law enforcement agencies are using these solutions to track bad guys, that they're not, following the average Canadian, and you don't have to worry about using your phone that the RCMP or the OPP or the SQ are listening to you and tracking you. If if you're working with a bunch of really bad guys trying to blow up a metro station in Montreal, yeah, maybe there's a good chance they're going to listen to you and they'll be on to you, right? But if you're not, I don't think the average citizen has to worry too much about this. My opinion, right?
Right. I totally understand what you're saying. I get where you're coming from. So, I mean, with technology, from what you know, like, is privacy just a myth now? Because, I mean, if someone, a bad guy or even good guys, want to tap in, they can, right?
Well, they could, but, most of these, like I was reading about Pegasus, and then there's another one called Predator, which is another one kind of like the Pegasus software that installs. And stuff. Like most of them, you need a user action. Most of them. You need a user action. You need to click on something. It's like a phishing email, right? Oh, click here and come and log into your bank, and we need to change your password. And of course, you don't do that. But most of the reports I was reading about the Pegasus software and the other ones do require some interaction from the user. So again, user education goes a long way. Don't click on stuff you don't know where it's coming from. But this idea of law enforcement listening to citizens and tracking them and following them is nothing new. All that's changed is the technology, right? So,
no. Even after 9/11, there was a lot going on.
And to your point, when I hear people whine and complain about privacy and government's listening to us, and then they go on Facebook and they answer stupid questions like, "What was the color of your first car? What was the model of your first car? And what was your mother's maiden name?" Well, that's a bigger issue in terms of privacy and identity theft than worrying about Big Brother or RCMP, tracking your phone.
No, you're so right. I mean, we had an expert on last week talking to us about the fact that people put all their travel and vacation pictures on and explaining they're on vacation. And and if it's easy to get your address, you're inviting burglars to go to your place.
Of course.
Because you're telling everybody you're on vacation, you're not home.
Absolutely. People share so much more private information than they should be worried about from the RCMP, honestly. And,
this is a very interesting conversation. Appreciate your perspective. Thank you very much, Jacques, for joining us this afternoon.
You're very welcome. Have a great day.
You too. Jacques Sauvé is a cybersecurity expert at Trilogiam, a consulting firm.